Hi, I'm Mike, owner of the In-Groove in Phoenix, Arizona. Today I'm in my living room due to space constraints because I bought another mega collection. This is an audiophile focused collection. What's kind of cool about this particular collection is this is from a friend slash customer of mine. So a gentleman comes into the store 5-6 years ago. I sold him a turntable. I sold him a Project Debut Carbon DC. Got into it, really enjoyed it. Moved up to a really high-end system. High-end audiophile system, turntable, Macintosh gear, Sonos Faber speakers, the whole works. But it's kind of interesting because most of this collection was actually assembled with my help. This is, people come into my store for years and years and years, and I've kind of helped them in directions of what to buy, sound-wise, quality-wise, things that you can buy. Long before the YouTube channel, he was kind of picking my ear. I used to carry Music Matters in the store. I turned so many people onto that label. He bought most of them. Mobile Fidelities. He's got every single one-step, almost all of the UHQR, original UHQRs, all the current UHQRs, Collectible records, all the Beatles monos, all the Led Zeppelins. On his own accord, he started buying electric recording company stuff. Tons of analog productions titles. But yeah, he bought this stuff for years. 5 years later, circumstances in his life changed. He's now going to be having more of a mobile lifestyle to where he's going to be traveling from state to state to state. And he realizes carrying records around isn't very conducive to that. So he called me up and said, hey, Mike, want to make a purchase? So, we got down to brass tacks. Long story short, he had everything in his Discogs, the Discogs portal, and we kind of talked about it a little bit, and I pretty much said, you got all really super sellable stuff, and I made him an offer of 60% of the Discogs value. That came out to $40,000. Actually came out to around $39,000, and he wanted to sweeten up the pot because he was really trying to get $40,000. So he threw some other stuff in that he had. Some sealed stuff that, he was selling on eBay himself. He kind of threw that in to kind of get him to the $40,000 that he wanted to be at. So I got all of his personal collection. I've got some sealed Beatles mono stuff. I got a couple of extra one-steps that he had. And yeah, $40,000 later. So I'm boxing this stuff up with him, and I thought to myself, actually I said it out loud. I said, you know what? And it's amazing because how many items actually had my old price tags on it. I said, I think at retail, buying this stuff at retail, I think you doubled your money on this. He literally bought almost all of these items from me, sold them back to me in a way that I could actually make money on the deal, and he still doubled his money on the purchase. It was quite amazing when I think about it, how much some of these records have appreciated. You're going to see he's got hundreds of Mobile Fidelity records. Like I said, now I got hundreds of Mobile Fidelity records over here. Some stuff Anadiscs from the 80s and some of the original Mobile Fidelity stuff, UHQRs. But a lot of this stuff is recently out of print, 1-2 years, and it's amazing how much this stuff has appreciated. But kind of the way it pipes down, the way it lays out over here is we've got 4 rows of Mobile Fidelities, one steps, original UHQRs. This is all analog production stuff. The box sets, their new UHQRs, different jazz titles. We've got Music Matters over here, some electric recording stuff, company stuff, some Tone Poets, some ERC stuff. Yeah, what is it? Impex in the back. Collectible stuff. There's a Beatles Second State Butcher, all the classic stuff, ORG. Huge run of Speakers Corner, and then some more audiophile stuff. But yeah, let's take a look through this. I'm always buying audiophile collections, guys, so keep in mind if you're ever looking to sell, I buy them in-state, out-of-state, box them up, send them to me. I pay extremely fair. But yeah, here's a prime example. So I'm showing you the bulk of it. There was some $10, $20 records, about 5 or 6 boxes of that, just miscellaneous stuff. But I weeded that stuff out, and I'm showing you, when it comes to the collectibles, I'm showing you the key stuff, and then all the audiophile stuff. But yeah, let's take a look at the Mobile Fidelity records. All right, we're going to start off with Beck Sea Changes. They only did 1,000 of these on pink vinyl. All right, we're going to start off with the Beck Sea Changes. They did 1,000 of these on pink vinyl. he had been buying up to extremely recently, as you could see. Mobile Fidelity, Run DMC, number 89. A lot of modern stuff, recently out of print, Men at Work. From my top 10 in-print analog R&B records you should own, Curtis Mayfield's Superfly. Out of print now, they only did 4,000 of those. Miles Davis, Bitches Brew, all the Miles stuff, except for a few titles, out of print. Love Forever Changes, in print, waiting for a repress. Los Lobos, Good Morning. This is actually, they only did 1,000 of these. All the John Lennon titles he had. Actually, most of those, a lot of these are sealed. Imagine from the 80s. Let's see, we've got Plastic Ono, Cyndi Lauper. I believe one of those is out of print. Janis Joplin's Pearl. The Judas Priest stuff is all out of print. Silver Series stuff. Ryan Adams, now out of print. All of the Allman Brothers stuff, now out of print. B-52 stuff, all in print. Cosmic Thing is So Astounding. The first two albums are dynamite. You should be looking at purchasing those before they're out of print. The Band, Stage Fright, out of print. But yeah, these two titles, absolutely amazing. Consider those for sure. Allman Brothers, out of print. iRobot did a shootout video on this. Fantastic. Allman Brothers stuff, all out of print. It's amazing a lot of this stuff goes out of print, doubles, triples, instantaneously. One of the most desirable Mobile Fidelity titles, as well as the Nevermind right there, as you can see that. It's amazing how expensive this particular record has gotten. That is the first pressing of Dark Side of the Moon. You could tell the difference because of the printing on top. It was italic on the second pressing. It was straight on the first. Miles Davis, Porgy and Bess. Melanie, let's see, from the 80s. Nefertiti, Fellows Kilimanjaro, Sorcerer, Jack Johnson, one of my all-time favorite jazz records. Roundabout Midnight, Miles Davis. All the Miles Davis stuff is absolutely spectacular. Pixies stuff, all out of print. Almost every one of these records he bought from me, except for stuff like this. The Queen, Day at the Races. It's funny, I actually upgraded my copy to this a couple of weeks ago. I got a sealed copy, and this was actually bought new, and he opened it. So I'm just going to switch his out, and I have a copy sealed. Night at the Opera, The Game, The Raspberries. Let's see, we've got REM, all the REM titles. Actually, these are the more current REM titles. Little Richard, I think this is one of their earliest numbered editions to where they did, I think, only 2,500 of those. More Pixies, Al Stewart, current in print T-Rex, Crime of the Century, Supertramp, Breakfast in America, Richard Thompson, Train, now out of print, James Taylor, Vanilla Fudge, and The Twisted Sister. All right, let's move on to snack number 2. I would say this is probably the most desirable Mobile Fidelity record of all time, next to probably maybe, some of the Beatles, maybe Nirvana, Sgt. Pepper, Dark Side of the Moon, Abbey Road. Those are all really popular, but this is, I think, above those just because of how rare it is. And it's an amazing sounding record. He's got a full run of all the Bob Dylan stuff in mono, in stereo. Don't forget, guys, just on a side note, I don't sell many used records online on our website. I sell some, and some of these might make their way to the website, but for the most part, this stuff is all available in the store. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. That's a really desirable title. More more Bob Dylan. Greatest hits. What happened to this? That seemed to get OPP pretty quick, although they still show it in catalog. I have not seen that in a long time. So we've got more mono titles. This is another title that's been on their website for a long time, but I haven't seen it in a long time. Kebmo, Casey and the Sunshine Band. We got 2 versions of the Carole King Tapestry. We've got the standard version, and there's actually a super vinyl version in here as well. I've talked about this in my video before. Kinda Blue and the Carole King Tapestry were test beds for super vinyl. They without telling anybody. They inserted random super vinyl copies a few years back. A couple Johnny Cashes, Carole King Music, Carnegie Hall, Ricky Lee Jones, the band. Look at that, my old price tag on there, $50. Rock of Ages, Patricia Barber, more Patricia Barber, the old boxed Miles Davis Kinda Blue, Miles Davis on the Corner, ESP, Four and More, Sketches of Spain, Bill Evans, that's a super vinyl tapestry, Weezer, Make Believe, My Funny Valentine, Count Basie Live, Miles in the Sky, Miles Smiles, Miles Stones, In a Silent Way, one of my favorite Miles Davis albums. I was actually introduced to this album a long time ago via the movie with Sean Connery, Finding Forrester. It is a very heavy it's a very heavily jazz soundtrack, and In a Silent Way is predominantly featured in that movie. It was one of those soundtracks that I dug as a kid, and I remember saying to myself, you know, what is all this music? And that's kind of how I found that particular album. Billy Joel's Greatest Hits. They only did 3,000 of these, I believe. All the Billy Joel stuff is in here. It's amazing how the Billy Joel stuff did not sell very well when it was in print. Now it has gone up quite considerably in value. Jefferson Airplane, Al Jarreau, James Gang, more Billy Joel, and Piano Man. That sold pretty well, but for the most part, the Billy Joel stuff did not sell well. Okay, next stack. Bob Marley. Very desirable MoFi titles. Leonard Skinner, NXS, Bette Midler. He was buying up till recently, till the very end. Bob Dylan, Oh Mercy, Pat Garrett. All the Dylan, like I said, is in here. Blood on the Tracks, Nashville Skyline. Oh, lots of Dylan. Get the Knack, Leonard Skinner, Street Survivors. The Weezer, all the Weezer titles. This is actually the blue marble vinyl version. So they did it in black, they did it in blue marble vinyl, and then the very last color was the translucent blue, which is gone now as well. It's out of print. One of my favorite of all time Mobile Fidelity titles. Bill Withers' Greatest Hits. Bill Withers' Greatest Hits are Bill Withers live at Carnegie Hall. Stevie Wonder, Yaz, Roy Orbison, fantastic title. Moody Blues, Willie Nelson. He had all the Hall & Oates. I think all the Grateful Dead, Procol Harum. This is really weird. Isaiah Kay's Hot Buttered Soul. This is actually a sealed record. And this has actually got an Acoustic mastering tag on it, which I'm guessing was maybe a mistake. You know, their stuff is pressed at RTI. A lot of that stuff was pressed at RTI as well. But yeah, still sealed, and then right on there it tells you that it was mastered at the, you know, Sebastopol Mobile Fidelity lab. So that's kind of an anomaly. I really want, you know, I've got a copy of this that's actually relatively noisy, and I want to open that, but it's too cool of an anomaly to open, I think. Eric Clapton, Slow Hand, Ry Cooder, a bunch of the Elvis Costello stuff, which has gone up quite considerably. Another series that did not sell well when it was new. Dire Straits, Cowboy Junkies. Again, Santana, this is the early 2000s single disc. Derek and the Dominoes. Linda Ronstadt did not sell well when it was new, and now it's gone up. Frank Sinatra stuff that did not sell well when it was new, and now it's gone up crazy. But yeah, let's keep going. I actually sold them this particular title out of my showcase years ago. This is With the Beatles sealed. The most desirable of all the single disc Beatles, because the stamper broke early on in the print run, and rather than making a new stamper, they just stopped. Hard Day's Night, Let It Be, you know, the full run. Grateful Dead, 80s Mars Hotel, Wake of the Flood sealed, Jerry Garcia, Genesis, What's Going On, Marvin Gaye, Foreigner, Aretha Gold, really fun record, The Spinners, Sisters of Mercy, a lot of Sinatra. Steely Dan Asia, Steely Span, Skinner. There is a Ziggy Stardust. Not an easy title to get. The Cars with my old price tag on it, never opened. That's actually still in print. Car self-titled, just got a restock of these in at the store. More Cars, Johnny Cash Walked the Line. That was a title that was limited, came, gone extremely quick. Ray Charles, more Grateful Dead. More Elvis Costello. This was going close to $300 till they reissued it as super vinyl. Ry Cooder, Doors from the 80s, self-titled. Freewheelin' stereo and mono. Okay, now to some of the creme de la creme. We're going to look at all the one-steps. So yeah, we're going to start with the Santana Abraxas. I put these in order. Abraxas up to the Bill Evans Trio, Donald Fagen, Simon and Garfunkel, Marvin Gaye, couple Seal Blood on the tracks, Open Blood on the tracks. Stevie Ray Vaughan, yes. Second Bill Evans, Monk's Dream, Mingus, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Then for the original UHQRs, he's got T for the Tillerman, Host the Planets, Crime of the Century, Sgt. Pepper, and iRobot. Unfortunately, no Dark Side of the Moon, which has actually gotten extremely expensive lately. Holy cow. In the corner, I actually got two of these. I got a sealed Vinyl Me Please Grateful Dead box set, and then he had an open one. So this is the still sealed one. Up top, I've got the open one. We've got a UHQR stereo, a sealed mono, and the Jethro Tull Aqualung. He also has the 45 RPM box sets here from Hugh Masekela, Belafonte. Let's get these out. Niles Lofgren. Saw him at his Arizona. There was a Arizona Hall of Fame concert here with the original reunion of the Meat Puppets, the Gin Blossoms. Niles Lofgren played. He was inducted to the Arizona Hall of Fame. And yeah, it was a pretty cool show. I went with a friend. It was a tough show for me to go to, and the fact that Herbie Hancock was playing the exact same day out in Mesa, and because of the nature of this particular show, I opted to go to it instead. I kind of maybe almost regret it to this day. I should have went to that Herbie Hancock show, but it was cool because the original Meat Puppets lineup played that night. Turns out they reunited anyways, but yeah. The Jano Starker box set and the Royal Ballet box set. Okay, let's look at some of the other stuff. A lot of this stuff is still in print, but a lot of it's not. The Grateful Dead, out of print, Jeff Beck, Sunhouse, Ravel, The Sound of Jazz, all the classical titles still in print. The Wilson stuff still in print. Folk Singer, my old price tag on it. The complete Plantation recordings, Muddy Waters. They only did 1,000 of those. Roger Waters, Amused to Death. Jimmy Witherspoon, Roots. Wasserman, Peter, Paul, and Mary. Willie Nelson, Stardust. One of my absolute favorite titles that Analog Productions ever did, and goes for a ton of money. Charlie Brown Christmas. They did it as a 33 and actually did it as a 45 RPM as well. He only had a few of the Blue Note titles because he was buying most of the time, at my recommendation, the Music Matters titles instead. But I think he bought that on the very last run they had. Let's see, Yellow Dog Blues, both Dave Brubeck timeouts. You can see tags pulled off there. Witch's Brew, The Sea, Royal Ballet, a lot of classical titles, Wilson titles, more classical titles and Wilson titles, Nina Simone, Dusty in Memphis. A couple original CCR titles. He bought these, I remember, right when they went out of print, right out of the bin. Counting Crows. For some reason, he had an extra copy of Waiting for the Sun because he has the box set in here as well, the Infinite box. And Slim Harpo and Terrapin Station, The Grateful Dead. Okay, keep going. This, in my opinion, is some of the creme de la creme of the collection. The 200-gram prestige titles, Saxophone Colossus. These are absolutely amazing, and when I talk about the ERC videos, you'll notice I mention these a lot because of how good they were. Tenor Madness, Sonny Rollins, Coltrane. A lot of these being sealed. A lot of these with my old price tag removed. Coltrane. All the Coltrane. There's an old price tag from the In-Groove with the original In-Groove sleeve. Coltrane, all the Miles titles. Willie Dixon, Jackie McLean, Kenny Dorham, Tommy Flanagan. Overseas, Fun Record. Benny Golson. One of my favorite Eric Dolphy records out there on New Jazz. Gil Evans Plus 10, Chico Freeman. Elmo Hope, Mobley's Second Message. Rollins Plays for Birds. This is actually one of my favorite titles in the series. Destroys the original. It's so good. Jimmy Forrest, Tenor Conclave with Hank Mobley, Booker Irvin. Okay, some of the stuff in print, out of print. Ella and Louie, Ellington Masterpieces, some more Ella. Gentle Ben. Don't know why he had this particular title, but Shahrazad ×2. I don't know why there's two. Some Wilson stuff, 7 Steps in print, Someday in print. He had the Elvis, 3 Elvis titles. Otis Blue in print, Herbie Hancock in print. Something Else. Gets Gilberto, Joe Walsh, both T for the Tillermans. Steppenwolf, and the Stevie Ray Vaughan, Double Trouble Live. Okay. I actually finally get to add this to my collection. I'm looking forward to listening to this. This is the 45 RPM of Love Supreme. I actually had this, and I don't know where it is. I have not been able to find it for years. It is in my garage, more than likely. It's in storage somewhere. I don't know. Yeah. Hopefully I find it. John Lee Hooker, Serve Your Right to Suffer. I hope this is a title that gets repressed. This is a fantastic title. Ray Charles in Concert. Belafonte. All the Beach Boys stuff. All with my original price tags on it. Most everyone sealed. Ooh, the short-lived handwritten In-Groove price tag. That only lasted a couple weeks. More Beach Boys, mostly sealed. 45 RPM stuff. Okay, Freddie King. Full run of the Norah Jones titles. Really good Louis Armstrong title. More Norah Jones. Leonard Skinner. Julie Is Her Name. The Crickets. And the Billie Holiday titles. Now let's check out the Music Matters stuff. These are kind of financially some of the jewels, and musically, of the collection. The Splatterwax to Wayne Shorter's Speak No Evil. Limited to 100 copies, I believe it was. He has all the colored stuff in here. Herbie Hancock's, Purian Islands, Unity. Most of these are the 33 RPM titles. He does have some of the 45 RPM titles, like that one. Cannonball, Something Else. Soul Station. Out to Lunch. Blue copy of Tina Brooks. Now he's weird in the fact that he opened all of his colored vinyl and he kept the same record in black, still sealed. So yeah, same thing, still sealed. I'm sure the blue one is lingering around here. This is the colored version of the Golden 8. Whistle Stop. iQuebec. Joe Henderson, they just released it as a Blue Note Classic series. Here is the black vinyl version of Speak No Evil. Wayne Shorter's Night Dreamer. Blue vinyl of Stanley Turrentine. Blue Hour. My favorite jazz record of all time, Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. Blue Note 84003, because in this case this is the stereo pressing. 8 signifies the stereo. 4003, 4-digit code signifies the mono pressing. This record never had a stereo jacket. It had a mono jacket with a stereo sticker on it when it was new. Stereo copy came out a little bit later, maybe a year or two after the fact. Andrew Hill, Point of Departure. Camp Verdeum Blues. Fantastic album. All the Grant Green titles are amazing. This only came out as a 45 RPM. Grant Green, Bud Powell. Some more 45 stuff. There's the Black Vinyl Blue Train. Kenny Drew Undercurrent. Hank Mobley. And the Golden 8. Oh, he opened that one in black vinyl. All right, Blue Train. Blue Train on blue vinyl. Midnight Blue on blue vinyl. Jackie and McLean, Right Now. Herbie Hancock's Maiden Voyage, considered his best album. On Blue Note, anyways. Jackie's Bag, Cool Struttin', one of my favorite records and probably one of the most iconic Blue Note covers of all time. Lee Morgan's The Sidewinder. Dexter Gordon, Leeway. Horace Parlin, Us Three. Lee Morgan, Dexter Gordon, Ready for Freddy, Pearson's Woohoo. Hub Tones, Dexter Gordon, Art Blakey's Indestructible. The Magnificent Thad Jones, and Art Blakey, The Big Beat. He actually was not a fan of the SRX, or something happened. I don't know why he didn't buy it, but yeah, no SRXs in here. Bought all the color variations, bought all the 33s. Some of the 45s, didn't get any of the color SRX variations. All right, this particular gentleman was a big fan of flipping records. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, he had a lot of sealed stuff that he just bought to resell. I know a lot of people don't like that part of the hobby, but he did. And here is a prime example of titles he did that with. This is the Electric Recording Company's Ravel box set. I want to say this was 1,500 pounds when it was new. I have not. Let's check it out. But yeah, I will actually give this a listen to later on. Great story with this. Not with this, but this reminds me of a great story. So I left Angel by herself one day at the store. Guy comes in with a bunch of records. I'm gone. Angel calls me and says, there's this guy here. He has a bunch of classical records he wants to sell. She goes, but they're mostly water damaged. She goes, it looks like they went through about 4 inches of water. And you know, 99% of all classical records that come to the store are completely worthless. So I said, you know, water damaged classical records, we just can't buy that. That's not going to happen. The guy didn't want to haul it back. She's like, well, the guy's just going to leave him here. I said, all right, whatever. Throw him away tomorrow, you know. I get off the phone. Again, I was at a friend's house, or I don't remember where I was, but she FaceTimes me later on, and she's locking up the store, and I look over her corner, I look over her shoulder, and on the floor is a 3-cornered hat on Decca and a Hi-Fi Espanol UK pressing. I'm like, whoa, what is that? Oh, these are the records the guy left. I got to the store as quick as I could. I could not believe my eyes what was left at the store. Not only was there a Ravel box set, but this, and he threw most of these records away. They got flooded. He said he bought these about 20 years ago from an estate sale. Somebody had died. Nobody wanted the records. The guy had a complete run of all of the key UK types. So he had a full run of early 2000 series Deccas. I mean, he had everything. I had a Leonard Cohen in there that had 4 inches of water and was scratched up. I put on eBay. I got $2,500 for it, but it was just the most amazing classical collection that was discarded, thrown away, left to rot in a storage unit, and then left for me to throw away at my record store. I was able to salvage as much as possible, but what I got out of there was thousands upon thousands, about thousands of dollars in records donated. No clue where they came from. No clue the person that dropped them off. But yeah, he didn't have the Ravel box. It came in a 4-disc single set, I believe, so there was 4 single LPs, but there was just everything. I probably got half of the 2000 series, but most of the stuff, the covers were water damaged. Some of the records were mint, some of them weren't. But I salvaged quite a lot of that. There was 2 Hi-Fi and Espanols in that collection. But yeah, he bought the Revell box. He actually, I should have grabbed the other one. So he has 2 copies of this Love Forever Changes. One is his numbered version, and he actually has a non-numbered version. He said that this was really noisy, and he contacted them, and they sent him another copy. So yeah. The Mal Waldron, still sealed, that I just reviewed. Did an unboxing of. And he also has, and you could see, he didn't buy these things to sell. Yeah, although he said The Love was his favorite album. One of his favorite albums of all time. But the Bill Evans as well. So, some more ERC records for me to listen to and go over maybe in future videos. A couple Tone Poets. I think he realized that, I don't know, he was going to slow down on vinyl buying because he only got a couple Tone Poets. Lou Donaldson, a couple Blue Note Classic titles, which I thought was weird. Yeah. Some Impact stuff. Now out of print. Friday Night in San Francisco, Patricia Barber, One Step. Art Blakey's Drum Suite. These are all Impex titles. That's just the discs to the 45 RPM version. Oh, my new price tag. Really good record from Impex, Monk's Dream, and the Jennifer Warren's The Well. Okay, let's look at some collectible records. We'll start with a Second State Beatles Butcher, and boy oh boy has this record gotten expensive. You could see Ringo's V-line there. But I probably sold this to him maybe 400 bucks 5-6 years ago. Worth considerable more money now. This is the second version of Kenelmus's Folkstone Prism. My favorite record of all time out of Arizona. Sundays recently did it. This is quite cool because this was made on Rockadelic using the original metalwork from the first pressing. And this sticker that's affixed to this is actually the original stickers that Ken, Mr. Kenelmus himself, had extras of. Really super clean mono 6-eye. There's a Mingus hum in here 6-eye somewhere that must be in one of those other boxes I meant to pull out. First pressing Pearl Jam stuff. Another record I sold him, a really clean copy. White letter text on the inside. The Electric Ladyland, Jimi Hendrix on track. Got this from me as well a while back. He put these, he liked to write himself notes. Oh, maybe that's what he paid. Probably what he paid. UK Plum. Really nice little Richard on specialty. Got that from me as well. I remember selling that. Queen. So, although he was a friend, he came to my store one record store day, and I was doing a lot of live acts at the time, and it was for this record store. It was 2018, and he got there at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon the day before. Brought his lawn chairs. I make everybody, your best friend, you're still sitting outside of my record store for record store day, because unless you work for me, if you work for me, I don't, you got to work. I can't make you stand in line. You get crack at record store day stuff. Me, I get crack at record store day stuff, but unfortunately, my friends, you got to wait. And he did. Now, as I was setting up, I had him come inside. He was still the first person in line, and I set up my sound system, ready for the bands the next day. But yeah, we did some karaoke. And it was kind of funny because as people started arriving, we were like trading karaoke songs on the stereo. But he got, I felt so bad. There were some girls behind him that truly wanted these records, and he bought them. He said he was a Taylor Swift fan. I'm thinking he's full of it, but he bought these Taylor Swift records more than likely with the intention to flip, and they have gotten absolutely extremely expensive. These are like hundreds of dollars, but it's cool. That's why records guys are so cool. I look at these records, they're not even my records, and I remember the story of these records. So many things in life I can't remember, but I look at a record and it just brings back so many memories. Import first pressing of Eric Clapton Unplugged. I actually sold him this Etta James at last. Some Sam record stuff. This is the only Sam record he had. I don't know why. He missed the boat on that. Okay, so he had almost a full run of classic record stuff. Led Zeppelin 1, 2, 3. Physical Graffiti, In Through the Outdoor. He's missing Houses of the Holy. Presents in Coda. Classic Who's by the Numbers. Look at that. In-groove, 35 bucks. When I first opened, I think I had most of all of these at the store for that price. DVX encoded disc of The Who. Don't know why you had that. Classic Records reissued by Analog Productions. A couple of those titles. Some ORG stuff. Peter, Paul, and Mary. Ella Swings Lightly, really fun record. Out of print. Dinah Crawl. ORG titles. Bags and Train, Milt Jackson and John Coltrane. Mastered from the original Analog tapes. Let's look at the Speakers Corner stuff. One of my favorite Speakers Corner records of all time, Lou Reed's Transformer, on the top 10 in-print analog records you should own. Rock records you should own. Waiting a repress. We'll have it back in stock. The Elvis stuff, which is now all out of print. Blue Oyster Cult, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. A lot more of the Elvis stuff. Wilson Pickett, good record, out of print. That was the record I saw over Angel's head when I was talking about it a minute ago in the classical stuff. But he had all this. I mean, Answer May, Petrushka, no US stuff. It was all UK stuff. But this is all Speakers Corner, classical. So the collection was a UK collector. He had every 2000 series. It was unbelievable. Nutcracker. And Peebles, Wayne Shorter, Janis Joplin, Bill Withers, Ry Cooder, still in print. Miles in Tokyo, that is the Speakers Corner version of Volunteers. Alan Parsons, Miles. There's an Impex of this guy, I think I talked about in the video here recently. Fantastic. Ray Charles, Mingus, Santana, Carly Simon, Ry Cooder, a bunch of Santana, Miles, Herbie, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Nina. Speakers Corner, a label that I love. Not everything they do is amazing, but almost everything they do is quite good. Santana, Patti Smith, Isley Brothers. Chet is back. Alan Parsons, Eye in the Sky. Mobile Fidelity announced that they're doing this. And The Sleeping Beauty, Complete Ballet, Answer May. Let's take a look at the Beatles in mono. This is a title that he bought right after seeing one of my first YouTube videos, the Sgt. Pepper Shootout. These are some throw-ins that I got. I talked about it to sweeten up the deal. The Beatles sealed copies of Help, Hard Day's Night. This is his open stuff. Of course, it doesn't look like he opened Mono Masters. Hard Day's Night, Rubber Soul, Help with the Beatles. Probably one of the hardest titles to get, Magical Mystery Tour. A couple reference recordings, Intervention. Look at this. Sade with the $30 in-groove record store price tag on it. He has all three of the Audio Fidelity titles that he got from me. DCC, Of the Doors, Abraxas Half Speed, Cranberries Analog Spark, the 45 RPM version of the self-titled and Fleetwood Mac Rumors, the new Verve titles, Nina Simone's, Louis Armstrong's, actually a couple more Tone Poets in here. All these still in print. And a lot of those are the more popular titles. All right, he also had some box sets. Stevie Ray Vaughan, 33 RPM, the new recently issued Motorhead. He had the Rolling Stones MoFi box, which actually I didn't have in my collection. One of the things from this collection I'm going to add. Very, very cool. The Queen box, I don't know why he owns that. Blood, Sweat, and Tears from Analog Productions. The second Vinyl Me Please box set. He had the Impex 3 Blind Mice, which is phenomenal. And he also had the Doors Infinite box set. Actually, his box is in a little bit nicer shape than my box set. I'm going to upgrade. I gotta say, what's unfortunate about this particular collection is I almost own all of these records. So except for a few things here and there, I'm not adding a lot of this stuff to my collection. Good for my customers because there's a lot of killer stuff coming into the store that they'll be able to purchase. But on a side note, I have most of this stuff. Check out the new In-Groove shirt, guys, available on the website, www.theingroove.com. Just got these in yesterday. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Check out our Facebook page. But please remember, most of the stuff I do not sell on the website. I do not have the staff capable of listing this stuff on the website, and my system doesn't allow for call-in telephone orders. You know, my system doesn't allow me to punch in credit cards for security reasons. But yeah, until next time.